Hi everyone, welcome to this coffee break. So today we're going to discuss the Probot, so the pusher puller. I think quite a bit of people know about this equipment we have. Today I'll like to maybe focus what are the benefits of using it, and more importantly how it is fully integrated in Magnify. That's I want to show the interface and how we use it. So our Pro pusher puller, the big unit is here. So we got the main drive system. Key feature is that our belt driven, so it offers a firmer grip. We got the take-up reel at the back with a slip ring inside, and we are able to use ECT, RFT, and Iris with slip rings. If you want to do some array capabilities like NFA and Eddyfi, you can still use the Probot, but you remove the take-up reel and manage the cable manually. The other nice feature we got is what we call the Probot gun. So that's the remote control. We got 5 programmable buttons that allows the technician that's acquiring the data to be sufficient at the tube sheet with few buttons that you can set up easily into the Magnify interface. The main unit is 50 pounds. Take-up reel is 25-30 pounds. So it comes in, it's separable, so you can carry it on the job site more easily. So if I look at and again, before we look at the interface, why use a Pro pusher puller? So first off, we're going to see the benefits of higher accuracy data. We got encoders in the Probot, so we have encoded data, position indications, first benefits, and as well as constant speed. So we're gonna have very clean data, the best data you can get for your exchangers. So it's gonna make for trending a much easier throughout the lifespan of the exchanger to see the corrosion rates. Also much easier for the analyst eyes as the data is crisper and constant. And the other benefits also is that you acquire at the optimal pulling speed for the technology. Of course, for ECT, you can go pretty fast, a meter a second, but still pulling the first tube to the very last at the exactly same speed that Probot can offer. And as well, so RFT is there's a maximum speed. So theoretically, 18 inches per second is the maximum. If you want to be conservative, you're going to pull a little bit slower just to make sure you don't overspeed your data. With the Probot, because you know it's going to be every time on the exact correct speed. Well, you can set it at 18 inches for the acquisition data. So if we look now at the Magnify interface, I have it here. Just not sure if this the feed is good here. What I see is yeah. So the advanced parameters. So everything is controlled through the interface of Magnify. Sorry about this little issue here. It doesn't seem to be picking up my screen correctly. Sorry, this is the so that's gonna be my screen, I'm guessing. So now it's good. Okay. So the Probot, we can connect to it. If you see here, we got the instrument view. So we got the Probot control right here. So you can start it, and then you can connect to it just like you connect to the Octane. So that said, we can do this very easily. We got a lot of safety features in it. First one is going to be the emergency stop on the software. We do have one back on the unit as well. Next up are the settings. So what speed are you going to run your Probot? We got forward, reverse speed that can be different. We got jog speed to adjust a few things. We also have safety features in the maximum duration of the sequence, the motor. If it runs too long, it's going to stop. If it reaches a certain distance, if it's too far out, it's going to stop just to make sure it's nothing happens to the Probot. We have clamping force and max current as well. Another kind of hidden feature, safety feature, is ABS system, I call. what it does is we have two encoders, one at the belt, one at the motor. So if we see that the encoder is running, but the belt is not running, seems that means that there is slippage, and that at moment the system is going to shut down automatically. So very nice feature to have out in the field. Then the other important part is the sequences. So we are able to set up the interface of the Probot to accommodate for different styles of inspections. So of course, very common is going to be the straight, but we do support U-bend inspection and as well as candy cane inspections. So depending the way you work, so we got those three options. Then the sequence type. You can choose from the encoder. So everything's going to be based on the distance. As soon as you know the distance of your exchanger, then we can adjust these sequences so they go at the end and come back. Air to air, it's going to detect the air signal at the end of the tube sheet. Then the other one is going to be manual, air to air, and fully manual. In our case today, I'm going to use encoder. I know my exchanger is 1.4 meter approximately. My sequence is going to be running at 1,380 millimeters. I can set end recording position, retraction, and as well as forward and reverse. We see here that we record on the way back only, but we could also use reverse and forward if we want to do the two data. Then up is so that's my interface. So I get full control of the Probot from the computer. So that's important. We have or it can be all these parameters can be controlled from the gun. And it's important to note that the Probot can run without the gun. Why do I say that? It's of course it's preferable. It's very handy to have the gun. However, in some confined spaces where the shell of the exchanger remains, it's limited space around it. Sometimes the gun just doesn't fit inside. So we are able to use simply the conduit. We take off the gun and keep only the conduit to guide the probe to the tube sheet. And this is the computer operator that's going to launch the sequences. So in this case, we would be ready to do the acquisition. So what I can do is I simply put myself. I've done a little bit most of the parameters here. So what I do is I can be at the tube sheet. I place my probe inside the tube, and I simply click on the launch button, and it's going to launch my sequence. And it's going to come back as simple as this. So I place myself to the next tube. I can launch the sequence for the other one. All right. And I mean, the acquisition is as simple as that. I could go on for the whole day. And you see on the interface of Magnify, I do have the way out that is going to remain white, and the way back that is saved in the green. This is only the display when I have fresh data acquired. If I go back to read back my data, then I will see that only the way back has been saved in my data. So I mean so that's the simple quickly. I mean what I wanted to show is how integrated it is within Magnify, how simple it is, and how it can benefit your operation with higher precision data, higher accuracy, and more and just overall better data for all your inspections. Now, if you have questions. Does it need an external controller? No, the Probot doesn't need an external controller. Everything is in the main unit. So what we got here in my little setup, I got the maybe it's hard to see, but I got the Octane running back there at the bottom. We connect the probe, the cable to the slip ring. We connect the encoder input from the Probot. And Ethernet cable to the Octane that goes to the Probot, and everything is in their control from there. And then all I need to have from the Probot to my computer is my Ethernet cable that's gonna drive everything. What techniques can you use with the Probot? Yeah, so as I mentioned, you can use any techniques. We do have what we call slip rings. So these ones enable to use the take up reel at the back. So it does for it's going to manage the cable, reel it back. So the slip rings we have are for ECT bobbin, 4 pins. We have one for RFT, the 19-pin connector, and we also have one for iris inspections. And that makes me think of another point that if you're running iris, things are going to be wet. And the Probot is fully weather resistant. No problem with the water. Everything is sealed, and it's IP rated. We've tried it. We've done some test trials. We have clients using it. There's running everywhere. There's water everywhere in the conduit that's going. So the main unit is really safe, but as well, because we're using a belt system, the water does not affect the grip on the probe, so it remains good, and we have no problem with a wet belt for slippage. Is the remote control mandatory? No, the remote control is not mandatory. It can be directed from the computer, so the technician can be at the tube sheet, and then the station operator can be at a computer and launch exactly the same sequences than the one at the tube sheet. In an event of an obstruction, will the force of the Probot potentially damage the probe? Yes, this is the case. However, we do have a lot of safety mechanisms. So the first one that's going to run, it's going to be if that happens. So there's a dent. You have your probe that's going out. It faces a dent. It gets stuck. First, that's going to happen most of the time is that the belt is going to slip. So the motor will want to push, but the belt is going to stay there and it's going to slip. If that happens, it shuts down automatically. The way there to see is we apply a little bit less clamping force to make sure that this is the first mechanism that happens, and this is very effective. I've experienced it a couple times with RFT inspection. The other one we also have is going to be a max amperage. You know that if the probe is the motor is still running, but it's slowing down because it's forcing on the cable. We see something is wrong. So when that does happen, is that the amperage of your motor is going to go up. In that event, we do have a max amperage shutdown. So in those settings, sorry, I went briefly, but there is a max output there. So we can set it normally to 6 or 8 amperes. And if the motor detects this quantity, then it shuts down automatically. And also, if there is something, there is always safety buttons. There is one, the big red one we can see here on the main unit, but we have an external one that we can deport to the tube sheet. Normally, what our client like to use is that they put this on the floor next to the technician. So that's handy. And we also have one actually on the remote control right here that can stop operation if there is something going on. All right, so thanks everyone for joining us. I hope you learned a little bit. Please check out the website if you want additional information, and don't hesitate to reach out. It's always a pleasure for us to present our products. So I hope you guys have a good day and a good inspection.